Hello everybody, it's Aaron, back from Screenstars, and I'm here once again to do another review for Geek Legion of Doom. And today I'm here to review the 2019 horror film Madhouse, a film that is written and directed by Ross Perkins, and it is an Australian horror film that focuses on a family that essentially are held hostage in their own home by three junkies who are after some personal information on this guy's phone that will allow them access to what they believe to be his drug money. They think he's some kind of drug dealer who kind of lives in plain sight, like in Australian suburbia. However, these junkies believe that he is a drug dealer, that he has loads of money, and they've got his phone and they want the access codes to his phone so that they can transfer this money, etc. So they hold this family hostage in this suburban home for it's an unspecified time really, but it feels like weeks when you're watching the film until they can get what they need. However, as you can imagine, with this being a horror film, things escalate and become out of control by the end of the film. Now, what did I think of Madhouse? Well, I think this was a very, very well made gritty horror film. To me, at times it felt pretty tragic, gritty and horrific, and it's kind of the best way to describe this film is it's almost like a cross between a home invasion film merged with a found footage film, and that's probably the best way I can describe it, because much of what you see, and it's quite unique in its approach, much of what you see is seen through the perspective of the phone, if you like, if that makes sense. You see dates and photographs and then personal details and things like that, and then that's crossed with footage that's been filmed through the phone and just normal camera footage, if that makes sense. But it quite a unique setup and presented film that we have here that for me always felt really never felt false. I thought the performances by everybody felt real. It felt like real people for the most part, and I think that's the real strength of this film. The junkies felt real. They were all different people. They felt relatable, even though they were despicable at times in the things that they did. They felt like, you know, somebody that you would see on a council estate, you know, a few miles away from where you live, or on a rough estate. It felt like these people could exist in the real world. So they were very, very good performances, and then crossed with this family, the father, if you like, who they think is the drug dealer. He seems like a normal guy. He's having an affair on his phone, which you see through the evidence collected in the phone, and they start using the evidence they have on his phone against him to try and get what they want out of him. I mean, the brazen approach of these junkies. They even hold parties and things at his house while they're held hostage in the bathroom. There's escape attempts by the daughter and things like that. They even manage to manipulate them when people come knocking on the door to check what's going on, including the police at one point in the film. They even manage to manipulate the family members to tell them everything's okay and things. So it's a cleverly made film that always felt real to me. I didn't watch any part of this film and think, no, that wouldn't happen. Because you do, even when they get the family members to reassure the people who come in knocking on the door that everything's okay. You think to yourself, well, I'd give them a clue, I'd tip them off. But would you, if you knew your family were upstairs and they're going to get killed if you don't do as you're told? Would you just ask them to go? So it was a nicely made film that felt real, felt gritty, felt realistic. I mean, these junkies, they really look like junkies. They had blotches on the face, their teeth were a real mess. They looked like drug addicts for the most part, and they did unrational things that you would expect a drug addict to do, and it felt like an impossible situation that the family were in, and it made the film watchable because there's quite a few things that happen in this film that hold your attention. You know, I think if it was just a case of holding this family hostage and then trying to get information out of them throughout the whole film, it would have got dull. It wasn't that. They even tried to befriend some of the family members to try and get what they wanted, which I found fascinating. It's almost like a test on, you know, the human spirit at times. It was, I don't know, I'm probably overthinking it, to be honest, but like I say, it did feel very, very real for the most part. So I found it a very, very interesting film. It certainly is low budget, and you will see that when you watch it, but that's only because of the way it's filmed. I think it is quite a unique watch. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It's one of those that I think you could imagine being remade with a bigger budget and having a real impact, because it's so gritty, and there are some very, very horrific scenes, some pretty hard to watch torture scenes at times, but it's not overly gory. Again, it doesn't do that just for effect. It's there for a reason. And yeah, I think this is one of the best Australian horrors I've seen for a while. Not that I watched them day in day out or anything, but it was certainly worth a watch, and I certainly think it's worth checking out if you like this sort of horror film. So that is my review for Madhouse. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to return for Geek Legion of Doom for more reviews in the future.